Hey everybody, Crow back again, and yesterday was 10/10/220. That was the day the Intellivision Amico was supposed to be released. However, due to COVID and that pushing manufacturing back, now it won't be released until April 15th, 2021. But Intellivision still wanted to do something special for 10/10/220, and that's what I'm making this video about, is what kind of intended to do and what they wound up doing, because I don't think they actually did what they initially set out to do. But before I continue any further on that, you may be wondering why I'm filming the way I'm filming. Well, it's because I'm actually going on vacation tomorrow, and I wanted to get this video out before I went on vacation. So this is kind of a no frills type of deal. I kind of want to edit this as least as possible. I mean, I'll still throw in footage and stuff that I've grabbed, but I do want to get this video out and edited as quickly as I can. Also, another reason I want to get this video done kind of as quickly as I can, because at 7 p.m. my time, Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, one of my favorite YouTube channels, OEB Pete, does an Amico All Access, and I am usually a panelist on that, and I'm going to be trying to be getting on there tonight as well. So if you're not familiar with the channel OEB Pete, or you want to get some like a weekly Amico, Intellivision Amico podcast, I recommend checking out OEB Pete's YouTube channel, and the link will be in the description below. Now, I was kind of thinking about talking about why I'm interested in the Amico and all the reasons why I'm kind of more interested in the Amico right now than I am for the upcoming PlayStation 5 and Xbox One, or not Xbox One, Xbox Series X. I can always, the naming conventions of those systems are kind of weird. And but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say right off the bat, if you have any questions for me about why I'm interested and I'm into the Amico, leave them in the comment section below, and perhaps I'll do a whole separate video about that, and I can answer you why I'm interested in the Amico, despite the fact that these all look like mobile games, or despite the fact the system costing too much, or the fact that it's not the graphics aren't as good, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and ask away, and maybe I'll make a separate video on that. Maybe it'll be a good old-fashioned QQQAAA video, questions and answers.
Questions. I need answers.
Because I have a feeling that this video is going to run long enough, talking about what they did. So I'm just going to kind of talk about it. I made notes. So there wound up being 3 main videos that Intellivision put out on their channel. There was a live stream that didn't go so well, and I think that kind of affected what happened after that. And then 2 other videos that were posted. And not everything that I believe they claimed was going to happen happened. And if you just want to kind of jump throughout the video, there will be bookmarks on the video, so you'll be able to see the timestamps and whatnot. But the very first thing was that at Pacific Standard Time at 10:10, Tommy Tallarico started streaming. Now, the problem was that his stream kind of screwed up. Now, initial impressions of this is that, because it was all choppy and everything, is that it was very kind of unprofessional. But then, I started thinking that, well, Tommy doesn't really stream all that much, and they claimed that they had tested this out throughout the week and it went flawlessly, but sure enough, the day that they wanted to do it, they were having all these technical issues. So, you know what, the same thing has happened to me when I was streaming, where, I'd want to stream, and then I'd spend a half an hour trying to figure out why the stream wasn't working. So yeah, despite the fact that they tested it and everything, the video wound up all being choppy. Now, the thing that I think that really sucks is, yeah, you had technical issues and you had this video up, but they took the video down. Understandable. But at least on the Intellivision Facebook page, they left the link up to this video now that doesn't exist. And people are kind of pissed that, they couldn't watch it live. And because they couldn't watch it live, they had no idea what he said now, because they didn't post, what happened, or why the video's not down, or like the information that people missed in that video. I assume that information will come out in the future, but to leave it sit like that on Facebook and just leave all these people in the dark. I mean, some of these people are pretty mad, honestly. Yeah, I can understand, technical issues do happen, but not to be able to go on Facebook and say, oh, we had some technical issues. We'll have another video up, posted on our channel, or here's what was supposed to be in the video. That's just a big strike. Now, fortunately, I would say that's the only strike, but there was also some missing information. And after I get through all this, at the end, I'll kind of list the stuff that I think should have been talked about that wasn't. But the very first thing was we had Tommy live streaming. Now, I did take notes because I originally intended not to take notes, and I was going to download the video later, but I was going to download the video and then it was gone before I could download it. So that was very weird. But yeah, I have notes that he was lagging. They tried to resolve the issues. I mean, the stream would come back and then it would just lag. I'm chalking that up to Tommy's internet being goofy. But again, you gotta, the people that missed out need to be informed on what he tried to talk about. So basically, he talked about partnering with Playdate Digital. That's educational software for children, and that's where he talked about the Care Bears game. So there's going to be a Care Bears educational title in there somewhere. I was talking about Load Runner coming to Amico. Now, never been I've played Load Runner, but I really suck at it. But again, if it comes to Amico, maybe that'll be a game I pick up for a couple bucks or something like that and try it again. Then he was talking about Gmode and Data East and a couple of those games that were verified to be coming out on the Amico sometime in the future. We got Burger Time, which we kind of already knew already. Bump and Jump, which was a new one, and I love Bump and Jump. I've been playing it again as Burning Rubber on the Evercade. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And Lock and Chase. Again, not one of my favorite titles, but I know a bunch of people were excited to hear about Lock and Chase coming back. And then I have here more lag and issues. And then he started talking about how there's like a calendar built into the Amico. You could set your own holidays. And, I think it's kind of the thing the Wii had, where you could say, where the Wii might have told you happy birthday or something like that on that whole calendar system. I don't know. He just kind of talked about it. Might see how that shakes out in the future. And then he talked about the Moon Patrol contest, which we kind of already found out because Tommy Tallarico did appear on the Amico All Access podcast last week, and he kind of told us about this Moon Patrol contest. And the winner would get a marquee, a Moon Patrol marquee that's signed by, I think it was the original creator of Moon Patrol. It's all backlit, nice in a little case and everything. And the winner will get that. And the way that would work is that you'd play the game on your phone, the demo, and then you take a screenshot and send that off to them. And there's a little code at the bottom to verify that you didn't cheat or anything. So, but the thing was that all throughout the day, unless I missed it, I've been checking, and there's been no information as to how to submit a high score or where to submit it to. So that information's missing. That was something I expected to be seeing, because they said the contest would last for about a week, and I'm going on vacation this week. I don't even know if I'll have, internet. I'll definitely not have internet, but I don't know about cell phone data coverage or anything like that. It might be hit and miss where I'm going, so because I'm going up into the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so out in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know if I'll be able to submit a high score or not. But again, even if I do, who knows? There's probably somebody out there with a higher score than me. And then he talked about a breakout demo, and we all thought this breakout demo was going to be on the Amico app that's on the Android, iOS devices, but instead this breakout demo is on PC. And that kind of took everybody by surprise because you need Windows. And I was kind of surprised by a lot of people who couldn't play it because they have Mac devices. And I don't know why, I just assume everybody's got a Windows device. But I guess that's not the case. It's probably because I've only used Windows devices and computers my whole life, aside from Android, that is. So, but I played it. It's extremely fun. It's a lot easier than the Moon Patrol demo. I'll say that for sure. And again, it's a game I'm really looking forward to playing. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that pretty much cut out the video. He said there was going to be a Q&A segment later, but that never happened, primarily because they just had to end it. So who knows if they're going to come back later and finish up on that stuff. So after that live streaming video fizzled out and died, there were 2 videos that were put out afterwards. I was expecting a bit more, but only 2. But that was kind of enough. There was the first one that came out was the Meet Amico hardware design, and this was about a 10-minute video. It kind of listed off all the stuff we kind of already knew, but I'll just go through it all. There was one piece of information that was new, but they first talked about the LEDs and the console and the controller and how many LEDs were in the consoles and each of the controllers, and how some games can sync those up, and you need to see that in order to play the games. Kind of interesting, but it was pretty cool how it lit up. It kind of reminds me of those when pinball machines started having those RGB lights in them. So yeah, it's pretty cool actually. I think now that I think about it, could be pretty cool, but maybe distracting if you're trying to play a game too. Who knows? The thing that I liked the most about the video is how they were talking about how the Amico was built to last, that there's just not that many moving parts, and it's built to be solid, and the plastics and everything they use. Because thinking about it, like these game consoles that are coming out these days, they don't seem to last that long. I remember like PlayStation 2 in particular. I went through a few of those before moving on to the next generation. And like if you think about it, like the Xbox 360, people's red ringing of death all the time and having technical issues all the time. Those consoles don't seem to last very long, and if they do, it's pretty rare. But if you think back to like Atari 2600 and televisions, NESs, and particularly our Nintendo consoles, those things are usually built to last. They're not going to die, and that's what I like to hear, is that the Amico's being built to last quite some time, to be able to maybe take some abuse. And yeah, so it was cool seeing that and seeing how things were built. There's not going to be any fans in there. It's just going to be passive cooling and like how old game systems used to be. So I'm I like that. And the next bit of information was pretty new. That was that the CPU was going to be a Qualcomm Snapdragon. That's a chip that's used fairly commonly in mobile devices. And to be honest, that was something I was kind of expecting. I wasn't expecting some radically different chipset like you would see in like a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox or something like that. I was just expecting something to be simple that is used in a lot of Android devices, to be honest. Next up, they were talking about the internal storage and how the standard internal storage could store up between 40 and 50 games, but there's also SD card support. So you plug in the SD card and you could store hundreds and hundreds of games depending on the size of that SD card you put in there. Also talked about RFID, which we knew would be in there because they were talking about also physical media would be using RFID, maybe some accessories would, but the physical media, you touch it. They didn't talk about the physical media at all, but we kind of knew that they would be saving that for later. And then they talked about the controller, how it can go for 4 to 6 hours on a single charge, and to charge it fully would be about 2 hours. And you could also plug it in via USB-C or putting it on top of the console, which is nice if you plan on playing for more than 4 hours. I don't know. I really don't play games for that long anymore, so that's fine with me. And then the very last thing I made note of was that every single game has a single player mode. So that was something I was thinking of if there were games that I wouldn't be able to play unless I had somebody else to play them with. But no, even one of the games they showed later on, Pong, which is typically something you see as a two-player game, certainly did have a single player mode in that video. And that's going to be a segue because that's pretty much the end of the hardware video. And then there was a 10-minute gameplay video where they showed off 30 games. Some of these games we've seen already and some of them we didn't, but I'm just going to go right down the list and maybe we'll talk about some longer than others. First up was Shark, and that's pretty much the same thing we've seen before. The second game was Cloudy Mountain, which was a game we've seen before, and I'm really interested in playing that one. That one looks like a blast. Next up, Astro Smash. Again, not too much footage of that. In fact, the footage I saw last time seemed more interesting than the footage this time, but it's getting me a little bit more pumped to play this game. Next up, Skiing. I think that's a built-in a game that you'll get with the Amico, and that game, we did see more footage of that. I saw some jumping over deer, which was pretty cool, some multiplayer action on that. Really looking forward to playing skiing. Next up, we got Night Stalker, and this might have been the same footage we've seen before, but nonetheless, looking forward to that one. Next game was Biplanes, and apparently this is part of an old Intellivision game called Triple Action. I've never played it, so I didn't know anything about it, but I guess it's just one part of that made into its own separate game. And that game looked really cool with the biplanes fighting each other and they're stalling out and doing flips and stuff. Oh, that game looks really like a blast to play with multiple people. So it kind of reminds me of the game Luftrausers, the indie game Luftrausers. And I don't know if it plays exactly like that, but that's what it reminded me of. And I love that game. Next up is Breakout. We saw some Breakout footage, but playing the demo was more even better than watching the video. I'm really looking forward to Breakout. Missile Command. We saw a little bit more of Missile Command. Actually, I say more, but I think it might have been the same footage as before, where you could see like the single player and the multiplayer aspect of it. And then we saw Battle Tanks. This went on for a little while, and I don't know how hyped I am for Battle Tanks, to be honest. But what we did see in this footage is that there was something about achievements in there, and I don't know if it's the kind of thing where all games have to have achievements or if they're just baked in separately for each game. But that seemed pretty interesting. Next up was Moon Patrol. I somehow omitted this when I was filming the video originally, so I'm inserting it in now. I'm really glad to see that Moon Patrol has some different elements that we've seen in the demo, so I am definitely looking forward to Moon Patrol. Next up was Dyna Blasters, which is a Bomberman game. I'm looking forward to that because I am a big fan of Bomberman, so it'll be interesting to see this one and showing some of the customability of the characters or whatnot. Next up, we saw Cornhole. Again, it's just the same footage as, not the same footage as before. There's some extra footage in there, but it's the same gameplay as before. The only thing that I'm curious about is if all of the boards are going to have the same singular hole in each of them, because sometimes I've seen these boards with multiple versions of holes. So I hope they put in a little bit more variety than just the one single hole in every single board. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think Cornhole is a game you're going to get regardless if you get the Amico. I think it's just bundled in with the system. Next up is Rigid Force Redux Edition. This, I don't know, is already a mobile game or an indie game on other systems, but the Amico version is an upgraded version with multiplayer, apparently. And every time I see more and more of this game, it looks more and more interesting. So this may be a game I'm going to have to look up. In fact, let me look it up right now. Now, it looks like it's on the Switch, Windows, and Xbox One. It's not on my phone. Let me look. Is it on Steam? Holy crap, this is on Steam, but it is a $20 game on Steam. Maybe I'll add it to my wish list. If it goes on sale, I'll buy it. But I don't like paying $20 for digital games. That's why I'm kind of interested in the Amico, where no game will cost more than $10 digitally. So this was probably going to be a $10 game on Amico. But yeah, it does have mostly positive reviews on Steam, so maybe I'll buy this if it goes on sale during a Steam sale or something, just to try it out before playing it on the Amico. Next up is Nitro Derby. This is the game that reminded me of Super Sprint, and I really like that game. We saw a little bit more footage of it this time. We just saw how big some of the tracks can be, so I'm looking forward to trying this one out. Next up, Finnegan Fox. Again, this game really doesn't seem to be far in development because they didn't show us hardly anything, and it's just the fox standing. So I think this game exists somewhere else, but they're redoing it from the ground up. I could be wrong on that. But again, I need to see more of this one. Next up was Pong, and we've seen Pong before. So we saw, I think, pretty much the same footage we did before, except now I'm sure I saw some one-player footage where you're kind of bouncing it up against a wall. So you do have a one-player mode in that for sure. Next up, Pool or Billiards. I thought the game was called Billiards, but apparently it's Pool. And again, just a regular pool game, and that's fine with me. I mean, I've been playing on the Daddy East collection on the Evercade, what was it, Side Pocket, and these games are fun to play. Next up is Snafu. I think this is the first time we've seen footage of Snafu. At least I've seen footage of Snafu, and what it looks like is like the old Snake game, but with multiple people, with power-ups thrown on the board. And it looks like up to 8 people can play this one. So that's going to be like a huge party game, I guess, if people want to play, if they're going to have fun. It's a simple game. So, and again, you could just attach your phones, connect your phones to the Amico if you don't have enough controllers. So that might be a fun time to play some Snafu with like 7 other people. Next up, Farkle. Again, I don't know anything about Farkle, but if it's anything like Yahtzee, I'm sure it'll be fun. Next game was Spades that they showed. We've seen Spades before, and I don't really know how to play Spades, but again, it doesn't seem like it's too complicated. And in particular, my wife liked how there were monsters on the screen because she's into that stuff. And before I continue any further, I almost forgot I meant to mention it before I started this whole gameplay video section, but I actually had watched a video again when my wife was in the room, and she kind of stopped what she was doing to say, look at these games and say, hey, that game looks cool. That game looks cool. And she's like, all these games look cool. So I think my wife is on board with the Amico now. But moving on, we had emoji charades, and we've seen a little bit of that before, but I think we saw a little bit more footage this time, so this game seems like more interesting to me now, the way it's like just picking emojis to try and get people to guess what phrase it is that you're supposed to get them to make them guess. So that looks like it could be fun. Liar's Dice. Don't know anything about Liar's Dice, but again, it's got some weird creatures in it. I think it's just animals that are moving really weirdly and oddly. So, yeah, again, we'll have to see more of that. Blank Slate is the next game they showed. And again, I think this is just a regular game that they put in video game format. To me, it looks like one of those games that would be in one of those Jackbox game packs. So it would be really nice to be able to play like Jackbox in a place where you don't need internet. And Blank Slate looks like it could be a winner. Like that way, like if, for example, I'm going on vacation to a cabin with a few other people, I could have brought the Amico with me. We could have played Blank Slate without the need for an internet connection. So that would have been pretty cool. Next up was Backtalk Party. And you know what? They keep showing us footage of this game with no audio, and I still don't have a clue as to how this game is supposed to be played. Next up, they showed the Sesame Street game, and it looks like, before I go any further into the game, it looks like there might be motion controls in this game, and to be fair, I didn't really have an idea how a Sesame Street game would look on Amico, a current one, because I don't think we've seen one in such a long time, or at least I haven't seen one since like the NES days, but it looked pretty damn good, especially with the count there, counting the sheep and stuff. If I had kids, I'd get it, but I don't, so I probably won't, and except I do have a puppy, but I don't think it's going to teach the puppy anything. Next up, they showed the Care Bears game. My wife was kind of disappointed that this is an educational title. She wanted a flat-out Care Bears game. Next up, Brain Duel. I guess it's like Brain Age, but with multiple people facing off against each other. I'm sure there's a single-player mode in there as well, but they only showed like a second or two of footage. There was hardly any footage of that at all. Next game was Evil Knievel. They always show this game off, and it always looks like Trials Fusion. And you know what I did a couple weeks ago? I actually downloaded the Evil Knievel game on Android, and the game is fun. I really do enjoy it. I mean, it is like Trials Fusion, but it has its own spin on it a little bit. So I've been playing Evil Knievel on my phone, and when it comes out in Android, when it comes out on Amico, it's Android, I'll definitely buy it again to play it again because it's fun. It gets really challenging as well. And I'll definitely play it on a TV with a controller rather than using the touchscreen controls on the phone, because I'm sure they can make the controls a lot better with a controller. The game after that they showed was Sideswipers, and I could have swore this was going to have the Hot Wheels license on it by now, but I guess not. So they've showed this footage before. before again, and it's just a game where you're going around the track trying to make people crash into each other. If I had to guess, I would say this would be one of the cheaper titles on the Amico. I'd be surprised if this was a $10 game, but who knows. And the last game they showed was Major League Baseball. They made sure to indicate that this was an early prototype build, and you could really tell because the audience would look terrible in it. But it was good to see the direction they were going to take this new baseball game, because I haven't seen a baseball game like that in forever. And I remember playing like Bases Loaded and Bases Loaded 2 with my dad, and even before that, Star League Baseball on the Atari computers. Just a single screen baseball game that looks easy to pick up, no camera angles, just flat out, just intuitive to play. I could see this being very intuitive to play because those older ones were. It definitely, for sure. So I may definitely pick up Major League Baseball. I almost said Star League Baseball. So that was all they put up. I thought there was going to be a little bit more. The things I made note of here that I thought there was going to be, I thought they were going to show more of the controller. In particular, I thought they were going to be showing those controller buttons that you could stick on the controller, so you could have buttons. I really thought we would see that, but we didn't see that. The other thing I was sure we were going to see that we didn't see was a video on the hardware UI, the user interface. They didn't show that. There was no separate video for that. I don't know if that was something he was planning on live streaming and then just couldn't do because of technical issues. Maybe that's something that's coming up, but I was kind of looking forward to seeing the UI a little bit more, but nope. And then obviously he said there was going to be, Tommy, when I say he, said there was going to be a Q&A after everything, but there was no Q&A, and again, because of technical difficulties. But again, to not post anything on Facebook, or I assume Twitter too, because I haven't checked Twitter. Let me check Twitter really quick. Nope, I checked the Intellivision Entertainment Twitter feed, and there's really no information about this live video that was kind of briefly on YouTube and then taken down really quick. But yeah, they really need to address that. They should have addressed that as soon as it happened. But again, it's Sunday now. Maybe this is something that needed to wait till Monday. But come on, you gotta post some information about what was missing from that video, or redo it and post it as a regular video. Maybe perhaps in the future reschedule the Q&A, but you have to inform people about this stuff. You just can't say, whoops, it didn't work, delete it and pretend like nothing ever happened. That's just a major no. You can't do that. Especially when you have so many people following you. And granted, it's not like PlayStation 5 numbers of people following you, but you got people following you, they're interested, they missed out, and now you're not telling them anything. You need to jump on that, really. So that's a bit disappointing that they didn't do that. I understand things happen, but you have to kind of apologize and say, here's what you missed. So in the comments below, go ahead and ask me questions why I'm interested in Amico, why you're interested in Amico, why you're not interested in Amico, and maybe I'll make a video in the future kind of addressing those questions like I mentioned earlier. And again, I'm not here to sell anybody on the Amico. I don't care if you buy an Amico or not. I'm just really interested in the Amico, and that's why I'm making these videos. And that's what this channel is. It's really just me making videos of the things I'm interested in, which at the current moment are the Intellivision Amico, the Evercade, and of course, pinball games. There will still be pinball games. We got Zachary Pinball, Pinball FX3, and pretty much anything else I feel like making videos on. Of course, when I come back from vacation, Williams Pinball Volume 6 will be out. Well, it won't be out. It'll be coming out soon, but I still need some time to play it before I make a video for that. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I got a bunch of video to edit, and I got to finish packing. And I'll be off on vacation while you're all possibly watching this video. So thanks for watching. See you all next time. Bye.